Well, today is one of my last days at UPS, and everybody keeps asking me, why are you leaving now? And, I guess everyone has different reasons. Age 55 to buy the insurance is a big factor. Some people leave it 25 years, some 30, some 35, some 40. That number and the amount you want for your pension or whatever that number is different for everybody, and your life circumstances, of course, factors into that too. So for me, 33 years is enough. So while this all started way back in '87, our oldest son was not quite a year old. We just bought a house, and Sandy was sitting in a chair and reading the paper, and she said, "Hey, UPS is hiring in Cocoa, for Melbourne and Cocoa. Why don't you go and give it a shot?" And I said, "They'll never hire me. There's too many people. What are the odds?" And of course she said, "Yes, they will." You see, Sandy's always had more confidence in me than I've had in myself, and that still continues through today. Well, Sandy, thanks for getting the boys to and from their activities or games, getting them home, fed, bathed, often in bed before I can even get home any night. So thank you for that, and also thank you for hiding a hot meal for me as well before all those boys got a hold of it. And there's always something for me to eat, so I was thankful for that. And Tyler, Ryan, Garrett, Marsden, Anthony, thanks for making me proud. Thanks for understanding when I couldn't get there to those activities on time. And but thanks for making actually both of us proud. So here we are in Cocoa. This is kind of where it all started in '87. This is where they did the interviews. This is the front of the building. It was the other side where they did the interviews, and it was a line of about 500 people. So I'm going to walk over there and see if I can remember where we did the interviews. So anyway, here we are in the back of the building. It was one of these two bay doors, I'm not sure which one, that a guy named Jimmy Walker, not the comedian, but a white Jimmy Walker from New York, he did all the hiring. He was sitting at a card table on one side, and there was a seat on this side. You come through the door and sit down. He had like a 2-minute interview with him. And I just remember when I pulled up, standing way out there and just following the line up here to Jimmy Walker, and just, gave him my best performance, I guess. And what I said, I guess, was good enough to give me a shot. Okay, so here we are at 2900, well, it used to be Smith Road. It's now Deuce Drive. It's just off of Wickham Road. Quick history lesson. It used to be a place called Florida Candy and Tobacco. Later became Deuce Distribution. Dwayne was the owner. His wife's name is Sandy. That's where the word Deuce came from, just so you know. Anyway, this is where I worked right out of high school when I was 18 years old. I hit that buzzer right there on this door and going in, and it was just a distribution place, cigarettes, candy, all kind of stuff you find in a convenience store is kind of what they sold. Anyway, make a long story short, I worked here for a while before I went to my other job, which was prior to UPS. But it was right here that I came back to after hiring from UPS when I was trying to get in there and trying to work on a consistent basis. I was only working 1 or 2 days a week at best. And with a son that was not even a year old, had a house, if it wasn't for this place, I could not have tread water and survived. I would have had to give up on UPS and found something else. But it was this place here that let me come back and work here on a day-to-day basis. When I didn't get to work at UPS, I got to come here and work. And since there were no cover drivers and none of that, I was the bottom guy. So if there weren't enough guys on vacation or calling in sick, Ross had to go home. And that happened quite often. So the reason this place was so good to me, I think part of the reason, the guy that ran it, who was kind of the foreman here, was named Tony, last name Kaczynski. And those of you that have been there a while recognize the name. Yeah, he was the brother of one of our recent retirees, feeder drivers, Dave Kaczynski. So Tony understood my dilemma. And if it wasn't for Tony, he's one of the ones I have to thank that I could not have stayed at UPS all these years. So I've never forgotten the favor he did for me all those years ago. So thank you, Tony. I hope you see this video. And if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be retiring from UPS today, honestly. So thanks again. A lot of memories here. Well, I guess I should start by thanking the management team. Let me first start with Roseanne Schweniger for hiring me permanently way back in 1987, 88, and believing that I could do the job. Thank you, Rose, and thank you, Pat Davidson, for being the on-road soup that trained me all those years ago. Well, why don't you come on into my office? This has been my office for 33 years. Come on in. This here is kind of neat. Ed Halk actually responsible for doing this for us, a few of us drivers. Kind of a neat little touch as you're pulling into the building. So thanks, Ed. So anyway, way back in the day, there was a wall here in Christmas time. From that end of the belt to this end of the belt, nothing but boxes. So we'd go do our route, come in, and then fill it back up and go back out again. One funny story, I came in late one night, and it was about 10 o'clock. Frank Dudley said, hey, you got more stuff to do in Satellite Beach? And I've never delivered Satellite Beach. And he said, well, I'll go with you, and I'll jump for you. So he did. We were out till 2 in the morning, and then a Satellite Beach police officer pulled us over, wanted to see our ID. They did not believe we were UPS people. They thought we were impersonators. So that was kind of a funny story. And all the management, all the way up to now, all the way up to Jamie, I appreciate all of you. Daryl, I want to thank you in particular for helping me out. Sandy and I being foster parents for a long time. There's days we would get a child at 5 in the morning, and Daryl would be more than accommodated when he could to help me out if I had no sleep or other circumstances when it comes to that. So thank you guys. And our union reps, Keith and Ed, I appreciate you guys for all the hard work you put in, and also Randy with the local union. Thanks, Randy. And I guess way back when, our steward from a long time ago, Chris Welsh, wherever the heck you are, thank you, Chris, as well. I used to have some good times up here on the belt. Way back in my day when I was in Melbourne Beach, my good buddy Jose Gonzalez and Tim Chambers and Gerald Craven, Joe Marsh, Scotty Stewart, Paul Jacques. All these beach guys come to mind. Joe Marsh, did I mention him? I don't remember. Anyway, a lot of good times right here on the belt back in the day. Okay, we'll go into my other office, but actually before we go in, I want to show you something in here. Way back when, an old buddy of mine, Robert Goldsmith, came out of the manager's office, not in a very good mood, and he came storming in the bathroom, and he kicked this door open. Well, another friend of mine, Don DeBow, who actually I went to orientation with, was coming out and did not have time to react, and the corner of this door caught him right in the forehead, and man, there was blood all over the floor. So the very next day, they had a marking. It was painted with the swing of the door, so you knew not to stand in that marking. And from that day on, there's always been something on the floor here as a warning sign not to stand here. So that day, that incident prompted that. We used to not be able to wear our work pants home, so we had to change every morning when we came into the locker room. And they had a big bucket here, and you would put your pants in there. And when you ordered a new uniform, your name would be on your by your belt loops in your pants, and the uniform service would hang them up there. So anyway, because they didn't want people going to the bars or the clubs wearing a full UPS uniform, so you weren't allowed to wear them out of the building. So anyway, that was a while back. So these lockers used to be used a lot because of that. I don't really use my locker anymore. Every once in a while I get in here for whatever reason. There's really nothing in here. I do have an old calendar that was given to me by a customer. See if you can get a shot of that. What was that, 1992 calendar from Susie Ceramics. She had a little ceramic shop north side of Palm Bay Road, just before the curb where by the railroad tracks. I think it's just fenced in now. There's no trailer, which is what she lived in. But anyway, that's kind of a throwback. You know, through the years, you're parked in different spots. My spot the last 6 months has been in space 16, which is kind of where I'm standing in front of. And no sooner did they move me here than they ripped open a piece of the wall here and put this door in, right in front of my truck. So I went ahead and claimed this door as my own. Well, right here in front of Brock's door is a little memorial that someone put up here as the ramp coming up or down. I'm thinking Russell Rose may have done this, but I could be wrong. But these are some guys that have passed away way before their time, actually. Toby Miller, Brad Sharp, John Long, and Les Titus. Les Titus may be the best center manager, arguably, we've ever had. Don't want to step on any toes, but anyway, a heck of a center manager. Some other guys, too, that have passed away way before their time. Bruce Hadley, Frank Dudley, John Tinkler, I think he passed away of ALS, and Steve Gates, another kid, was a kid because he was very young, just becoming a driver. All these guys, good guys, and that I remember, and I'll never forget. All good people. So what am I going to miss most? It's not going to be the work, I will tell you that. I've had my share of that, but it's the people. That's what I'm going to miss the most. And that includes the people that I've met along the way on my routes, various routes. A couple that come to mind is a Florida boy, Michael Senti, over on the beach side, Barry Galt, the late Bob Marks, maybe the most interesting person I've ever met in my life, quite possibly. Bill White, extremely close friend of myself and my wife and entire family, actually. Those are the people that I'm going to miss and already do miss quite a bit. But the people, I'm very grateful to the guys that were there ahead of me that helped me out when I got started. Top of my head, Dave Faree, Jose Gonzalez, John Mack, Mike Grout, Joe Marsh, Brian Goetcher, Kevin Blackett, and there's a lot more, Lori Search, several more. And the young guys, Jesse Numala, Nick Nicoletti, Edwin Velez, Juan Jones, Jake Kirshner, Blake Noel, and everyone else. I mean, really, that's just top of my head. Impressive group that we have right now. And that's the one thing I would say UPS has done better than anyone, any company. UPS hires and has always hired quality people, and that's certainly the case right now as I exit the company. It's in good hands for those here in Melbourne, that's for sure. So hopefully we'll be able to stay in touch one way or another. That would be great. And but that's what I'm going to miss. It's the people. Okay, so this is kind of it. You know, I guess they say that people's lives are like chapters of a book. You know, every accomplishment, achievement, or just change of life is a different chapter. So I guess I look at this as I don't know how many chapters I've got left, but I know that retiring from UPS is certainly the end of one of them. So time to move this along and start a new chapter, I guess.